I'm not an investigative journalist. I'm just a dude with an opinion. And today I'm part of the police. Welcome to the We Are One podcast. Today we are going to talk about human cloning and how that affects the NPC conversation and talk a little bit about the Demar Hamlin situation. And I feel like this hat is a jolly hat. So I was planning on wearing this, but I think I need to go ahead and change my hat out because this is not a jolly conversation. This involves more of the police work that needs to be done to get to the bottom of the baloney that we call this country and this world. So I'm putting my police hat on.
You're gonna join the village people now.
No, never that. I am not part of that YMCA crowd, bruh. No, sir. Anyway, let's go ahead and get on to this. In 1996, the first animal was cloned. Most people know it was a sheep, and she was called Dolly. She lived 6 years, I believe, and she had tumors, but she did make it 6 years. So a couple little notes on this cloning conversation that I looked up from the internet. All this is researchable. The first human was cloned in 2002. Her name was Eve. I do not know if Eve is still alive, if she's married, if she's vice president of the United States. I don't know any of that stuff. The company was called Clone Aid, and they moved from the U.S. to the Bahamas, I believe. As of 2018, that's now changed, but as of 2018, 10 states allowed to clone and kill. That was legal. In 2020, the AHR Act made it illegal to clone in the United States. So I think that's why Clone Aid got out of the US. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. I think I can still share it. As you see the Demar Hamlin stuff on there. I'm gonna play a little bit of this. This is what's going on in the media right now. This is, I believe, from yesterday. This is off of Twitter. There's some jokes being passed around about Demar Hamlin maybe being a clone. You'll see a little bit of why people think that or what the possibility is. And we'll just play this video real quick.
So the NFL Twitter fans is currently saying that this is Demar Hamlin working out. All jokes aside, let's get into today's video. What's good, YouTube? In today's video, I want to talk to y'all about this Demar Hamlin situation. Demar Hamlin is currently making headlines, and it's not for his recovery process. Demar Hamlin is currently making headlines for possibly being a clone. This situation is quite weird, and I want to show you guys the video footage that I have today. In this first clip, I want to show you.
All right, so this is from a YouTube channel called Self Talk. I want to give him props. This is what I saw from his channel. I'm not trying to steal this. This is not my work. I'm not an investigative journalist. I'm just a dude with an opinion, and today I'm part of the police.
For you guys, Demar Hamlin pulling up to the Cincinnati versus Buffalo game. And this is the footage that was released by CBS of Demar Hamlin. Let's check this out.
Demar Hamlin is in the building. Yes, if they show him in the stadium in any capacity, it will blow the doors off of this place. Just showed up, and it looks like his mom and his little brother is there. Oh, we love to see it. Stay tuned. It's the Bengals, Bills, coming up on CBS. Good job.
Returned to the facility this week. Sean McDermott telling us it was so good to have him around. He told us it's baby steps right now. It's all completely up to Hamlin, how involved he wants to be every day. A spokesperson close to the family said despite being out of the hospital, he still has a lengthy recovery. He requires oxygen and he has his heart rate monitored regularly, but he is upbeat, he's positive, and I was told he has a big smile on his face.
Demar stood up, right?
Yeah, he did. This is it right here.
What a scene. Oh. That's his sign.
And you think that's a clone?
What a beautiful triumph.
And I have no opinions right now. I think it's odd this dude is by himself.
Okay, and the next clip I have
by himself in the studio watching the game with a hoodie up to his eyeballs. There's not one shot of him, not one. Security was all around him like he was the president of the United States and somebody wanted to get at him. So I don't have any words for that. I'm obviously, I would say I'm glad that he's okay, but according to this, he may not have been okay. He might have died, or he might have been cloned or something. I don't know. But let's keep playing this, and we'll get a little more deeper.
YouTube videos. Peace.
That's why we may never learn the truth about what caused Buffalo Bills safety Demar Hamlin to collapse on the field.
So this guy has been on ESPN and multiple shows, and he has an opinion, and this is his opinion, but he is a nationally televised sports aficionado, talk show host, whatever.
The NFL is a reality TV show dependent on the advertising dollars of Big Pharma and other global corporations. Sunday afternoon, as CBS broadcasted Buffalo's playoff loss to the Cincinnati Bengals, the network trumpeted the fact that Demar Hamlin cheered on the Bills from a suite inside Highmark Stadium. On numerous occasions, cameras cut to Hamlin allegedly reacting to the action on the field. I use the word allegedly because the image of Hamlin was so fuzzy behind the glass and snow that it could have easily been an actor wearing a hoodie and gator face mask. Security guards blocked cameras from getting too close to Hamlin. Why the secrecy? I believe Hamlin attended the game and that he was the guy wearing the hoodie and the gator. But I believe his handlers have advised him to follow a carefully crafted script, a reality script that will allow him to charge maximum dollars for his on-camera interviews. Hamlin is most valuable over the next year as a mystery, not as a whistleblower or truth teller. The truth about what happened to him on Monday Night Football a month ago is totally irrelevant in comparison to how much money he can earn.
All right, we stop it there. He's not talking about cloning. So the whole cloning thing comes up, and most people are probably going to be like, yeah, I mean, cloning is just, it's one of those things that you can say that don't make no sense to anybody because nobody's really looked into it. I didn't know until today that there were 10 states that allow clone and kill, which probably means you can experiment and do whatever you want. And if it doesn't work out, you have the right to let them go. Let's bring this up. This is interesting. I don't know when this is. This is a Congress.gov report from the House of Representatives. I think this looks like it's 2018. I'm not positive. But a representative in the House says he's drafting a bill to protect cloned humans from the moment of inception in the event that cloning occurs illegally. So basically, it's protecting a human clone's ability to be put down immediately, even if it's illegal. That in itself is ridiculous. Now we have legislature like that. Let's get into some of these facts. Then some more disinformation here on Google. There's no scientific evidence that anyone has cloned a human since, I don't know what this is, 1998. Scientists in South Korea have claimed to have successfully cloned a human embryo. I don't know where they're pulling that from, 1998. It said in 2002 that a human was cloned. Her name was Eve. So this could be a big disinformation campaign. Basically, it's been 20 years since a human has been first cloned. Again, her name was Eve. So I'm pretty sure in 20 years they've come a long way. MJ, you got any thoughts? I've been talking for about 15 minutes flat.
Clone lives matter.
Was that clone lives matter?
Yeah. No,
Does that mean human lives don't matter? Or
No.
just clone lives, or all
No,
embryonic lives matter?
I'm not saying that just because clone lives matter doesn't mean that non-clone lives don't matter.
Okay, I want to make sure you were clear on that. That's all.
Yeah, no, I'm joking, but so I'll play devil's advocate here. So do you believe that the cloning technology is that quick to produce a clone of Demar Hamlin in that amount of time? If he did suffer whatever he suffered on the field?
That's a good question. I mean, that poses the question of, are certain people cloned? I mean, do they have backup certain people? I mean, okay, so I think it would have to go one step farther, right? You'd have to say that the deep state, the Illuminati, or whoever is in charge of this facade, this stage of sports entertainment show that, I think that there's a quote about everything's a stage and all the world's the players or whatever are actors, and if you want to hypnotize people, you just make a coliseum for the Romans to watch. I think that's one of the old adages. So if you're going to go down that road, you could easily say that this is a false flag event, perhaps, and that they knew this was going to happen with him in particular. Maybe I mean, there's tons of stuff out there with data, whether it's conspiracy or coincidence or whatever it is. Kevin Hart says he died in his car accident. I mean, there's rappers that have I can bring up some rapper videos that I saw on my history that basically have even said that they are cloned. Where my history at? They said they're cloned. Here we go. So these are rappers that have been cloned: Kodak Black, Eminem, Gucci Mane, Eminem. And this is a video. I'm not going to play the entire video, but there are some things like Eminem's got some ear differences. Joe Biden has some ear differences. So for people to make assumptions and say, well, they're just kind of being facetious, NPCs, they're non-player characters. A non-player character, it is a term. It just means you're a background character. I mean, it's kind of been hijacked a little bit by mainstream media, Kanye West to Timcast. It's all over the place about what it is. It's like the Matrix. They want to make it look like it's something else. So they hijack the term and then they just misuse it all over the place, confuse people. But in this particular case, it's definitely possible you could grow somebody faster. I mean, it's been in movies, it's been in Avatar, it's been in a lot of things. It's been in a lot of the secret space program videos where people said that they were taken off planet and they've seen these pods. And now you saw the ectopod. We did the little thing the other day about the ectopods. I mean, how long does it take to grow a baby? I mean, I'm assuming it don't take, 20 years to make 20 years. So it brings us to a conversation which is not just about cloning. Is it possible? I think that's pretty obvious that it not only is possible, it's probably already been here for 20 years. They have just covered it up about what it could do to swap people in and out or do whatever they want with their own agenda. The real question is, if we have divine sparks and we are eternal, we're assuming that other people and everyone else in this world, at least you are, Mike, saying that everyone that you've met as a human, you give them benefit of the doubt, which is respectable to say they have a soul. But if cloning is a thing, do these people who are cloned, do they have souls too, in your opinion? I mean, would they have souls?
Yeah, so
I know we're extrapolating a lot, and I'm not going to go down there like this is something that we know, right? We don't know this. We're just speculating.
So I think it would be easier to. So for one, if you're talking about a clone, like I'm looking at CloneAid's site, these are the people that supposedly cloned that Eve 20 years ago, and what they did was just make a genetic twin of existing cells. So that's what they're saying the clone is. So they're taking an existing cell, which is alive, and just basically making a genetic twin of it.
They're making it, but it's making an embryo, correct? It's not just making cells; it's making a human being.
Right, but they're taking cells from the donor. They're not creating cells from scratch. They're taking donor cells.
Understood. Okay, so do you believe that okay? There's a few questions we can go down this road. So if you clone somebody cloned you, right, out of your cells and grew you up, you'll look almost exactly the same. I mean, there's only a few small differences that there would be, aside from the the known differences of your experiences. Even if your cells had memories, which that's a whole nother rabbit hole we can go down, and this thing was cloned, or your twin was cloned, would it have a soul? And would your DNA growing an embryo, growing a clone of you, would part of your soul be in that other clone? That's the question to ask. Or is it possible that it does not have a part of your soul in there? Forget consciousness, just divine spark.
Yeah, I would say you wouldn't be able to have life without it. I mean, to me, the difference between what they're calling a clone and in vitro fertilization is just exactly copying the genetic material. So you can have an in vitro baby where you're doing the same thing, you're taking cell donors, and you'd be hard pressed to argue that baby, because they still had someone carry that baby, right? That baby being born doesn't have a divine spark or a soul or whatever.
So you think it would have a divine spark, correct?
Yeah.
In your opinion, like your guess, you think it would?
Yeah.
Okay, so what awareness unit would it have? Would it have consciousness? Would consciousness be able to grow from a clone?
Yeah, I would think so. If a clone is just copying genetic material, then, and if it's alive, then yeah.
So it would not only have a divine spark.
Your child may not be an exact genetic copy of you, but it has your genetics and it's alive. It has a divine spark, right? So what would be the difference, whether it was genetically modified or not? If
Yeah,
it's still
I think. Yeah, I mean, I get you. I understand completely. I think that the difference for me would be what part of your DNA carries your divine spark, because you can certainly clone and use, X, Y, and Z from your body. But if that doesn't have the divine spark in it, then consciousness and the divine spark of your soul, spirit, whatever you want to call it, wouldn't be in that new thing. Correct? Is it possible that that's something that's not in them?
Yeah, well, I'm not saying that consciousness is non-local. Like I'm not saying consciousness is not inside of a cell. Like you can't just, consciousness is expressed through those cells, but those cells aren't all of the consciousness.
So where would consciousness be localized to? Where's the foundation of that?
Yeah, so to me, consciousness is non-local. Like that's the whole theory of consciousness being primary to matter or space and time or whatever. So that's primal to space and time. So that's non-local in a sense. Now you can look at your DNA as being receptors for consciousness, if you will, or antenna for consciousness, just like a radio station being broadcast by certain frequencies being tuned in, your frequency and my frequency. But that doesn't mean a station is residing within the radio. The radio just picks
what causes that frequency for you to express and experience your consciousness?
You're asking what causes consciousness?
What causes your frequency? Is it in your DNA and your cells? Or, because where I'm going with this is, if you're going to clone you and you have the same DNA and you have the same cellular makeup, but your awareness unit is you, could they not transmute your consciousness into that clone? You have the same frequency. If they killed you, would you jump into that clone? If you died, would you go into that clone? I guess is the better question.
If they died,
could you merge into that? You're on the same frequency, right?
Yeah, I don't think transferring consciousness is as easy as it sounds. Just what we're saying. Like even if you were able to grow a body, to have it be conscious is a whole different thing. Even if you were able to grow, let's go back to Demar. You can grow a quick Demar Hamlin. Do you think that his football skills and all of that is going to be in his DNA and in his brain, and he'll be able to walk and do all of this stuff like Demar would, or
I don't know, but it definitely poses a very interesting question, that if they can clone and quick clone somebody like that, and his, let's say, for example, his body died, but they had a quick clone of him, or were able to grow one, if they could keep his physical body alive and it's tuned to a frequency, and his genetic memory is inside of his body, which is now into a new clone body, it's not out of the realm of possibility that he could have jumped bodies and his consciousness could now be transferred there with that link. I mean, I do believe that the consciousness has been scientifically talked about as far as the magnetic electricity, right? I mean, if it's magnetic, if there's some kind of electricity movement, it could easily just jump. I mean, your spirit could jump. They say have an out-of-body experience if you jump out of your body, right? So I don't think it's too far-fetched to say if you match that frequency in another clone body, you could easily transfer consciousness.
It's possible, but I don't.
You don't see it?
I think that's a stretch. I mean, I think Demar Hamlin being a clone is a stretch as well, but we're just entertaining thoughts here. But yeah, because I think a lot of things would have to happen. I mean, if you're going to have backups of people, of players, in my opinion, unless you got backup of the entire league or unless all of this was orchestrated, I mean, that's a lot of planning. I mean, I would think you have backup of major players. I mean, I'm not a big NFL fan, but I don't know if Demar Hamlin before this was a major player, one worthy of keeping the backup clone of. And to have backup clones of everybody in case something like this happens.
I'm gonna patch a TikTok in there that I believe I sent you. It was of a girl who went to Hollywood, and to get into an LA party, she had to get blood pricked. Did you see that one? I'm gonna patch it into this video. So what she was saying was that everybody who moves and goes into Hollywood to be an actress or an actor, they have to submit to their blood sample. So I'm just putting two and two together. Potentially, they might be giving up their DNA to be cloned so that they can be taken, or I guess taken is the wrong word. They could be used and forced to cooperate. And if they don't cooperate, then all of a sudden we have some clones out there that are going to play by the rules, which in this Eminem one, I'm going to add this to the stream. In this Eminem one, they're saying that his music has changed. And they're saying that his tone has changed, music has changed, some of his body has changed. And what he raps about has changed. So if we extrapolate what we know about currently Chat GPT, if I said write me a rap in the style of Eminem, even if this dude had no memories and couldn't have any skills of rapping, this dude could be a rapper, a brand new Eminem rapper. So we've got AI consciousness in now a clone body. That's pretty scary.
It's possible. I still think it's a stretch, man. I still think even if, I mean, look how robotic Chat GPT is now. Even if it wrote in the style of Eminem, to be able to rap and have the cadence and all of that stuff. I mean that's tough. That takes some artistry, in my opinion.
Yeah, but I mean, I believe that, looking on the one side of the coin, you could definitely say that if somebody was to clone you right now from your memories right now, and if your memories are in your DNA, in your plasma, in your water, wherever they are, if they're in your DNA, like that talent is there. The same way that a 4-year-old played the piano, that in his prior life was a savant or was a piano genius. Let's say that, right? So in the same way, he would just be looking for inspiration or looking for a song. If he got a song handed down to him, now you got something. You got the talent is already there. Chat GPT could do the AI as far as the lyrics are concerned, and all he has to do is practice a little bit.
Yeah,
I don't think it's too much of a stretch to say that could be. I'm not saying that it is happening. We're just throwing this out there, right? We're just having a conversation. But I mean, there's ways you could patch those holes up. But what you can't really debate, I guess, too much along the lines of is, people's physical appearances changing, tattoos disappearing on certain people. This is going to play a little bit. I'll play a little bit of this, but they have tattoos disappearing on Gucci Mane, whatever his name is. And Eminem's ears are different, and his facial expression is different. who's the rapper that got incarcerated for 3 years and lost like 40 pounds? And then he was seen like in Tampa at a party, and they were like, this isn't even the same dude. Like his boys were like, this ain't the same dude. So anyway, topic for discussion. I guess this is just a part one of this, what we're talking about. And it's definitely interesting. It ain't going anywhere. Clone Talk's going to keep coming back. And we'll be interested to see in the next few months or in the next year or 2 years how we both feel about what has transpired. Any last comments or?
No, it's interesting. I mean, I think eventually we'll get there, but I just think and who knows what's going on behind the scenes. But yeah, I'm skeptical when it comes to at least fast cloning, at least cloning Demar Hamlin.
Right.
Yeah, to me, I'm skeptical on that. To me,
You
that's
call them quick clones.
Yeah, to me, it would be easier to pull that off with a body double. You know, you're not really seeing nothing. I'd be more amped to feel that was a body double than a clone.
Yeah, I hear you. I would too. I mean, in that case, unless of course they had this plan from the jump. I mean, it's definitely possible this was part of the the thing that goes in your body the last couple of years. They had some of this planned to get rid of some people who weren't playing ball. I'm just saying, it's possible.
Yeah. It's possible, but I guess if you want to, not to belabor the point, I guess I would question, what is the intent? What do you gain from this exercise? You know, what is that? What is the Illuminati benefit from the exercise of?
Well, that I'm not going to speculate on, because this was one of the things that I was bringing up to some of my friends 3 years ago when I was like, this don't make sense. None of this makes sense. The way that it spread, how it spread, the nonsense that people were talking about it every single one of the sun. They were like, well, this isn't just about vaccines. This isn't just about that. There's no money in that. And I'm like, now do the same people say the same thing? I mean, do the same people say that there's no money in vaccines now? I mean, is that, you can't say that. You can't say that no more. Right? They had a script for it. And this isn't a conspiracy theory show. This is more of a spiritual show, as far as that's concerned, and how memories are stored, consciousness being transferred. Those are interesting things to me. I'm not going to focus on the negative stuff. That's not what we're here to do. At least at this point in time, I'm not interested in talking about that. But, there's a saying that I said about 3 years ago. I heard it and I didn't make it up, but it said, if a policeman walks into a crime scene and there's blood everywhere, you don't have to know the motive to see there's a dead body. I'm not looking to judge the motive of how this stuff fits. I'm just trying to say something doesn't smell right, doesn't sit right, and we'll just keep investigating and how to take action on that for ourselves. That's all I'm saying. That's all I want to talk about. I'm not looking to go down that rabbit hole of living in fear. Having that emotionally charged situation impact my body and make me sick or make me deranged or whatever. We're all blessed to be here, whether we're living amongst clones, NPCs, or whatever that might be. I still have a choice of how to react to that. And, I take that at very high, integrity value for that.
But you did make a good point with the savants. And I was thinking, that is talent, that latent talent that they have. Like you're making it seem like that was part of their DNA, but could that potentially be part of their consciousness as well? Could that be?
Sure, absolutely. It could be either. But I mean, I don't believe that you can, when you look at when we're born, we're babies, right? So yeah, your consciousness comes in at some point in time. That's another discussion of when consciousness comes into your being I want to say incarceration, but being incarnated. Your consciousness comes in some point in time. You're not really conscious till you're 4, 5, 6, 7 years old, as far as consciousness is concerned. Being able to break pattern and have a personality, things like that, you're learning before that. So if you're talking about, before you're actually conscious, are you able to have a consciousness. That's possible. But looking at it that way, you would have to have a program backup to be able to play the piano when you don't know how to play the piano. You know what I'm saying? Like the consciousness, I believe, is the operating system, and the DNA is the hardware of the program. That's the way I believe it is. That's why we have so many complex chromosomes and what's the structure that we have, 53andMe or some, whatever that is. There's 12 chromosomes, and then there's subparts of that go way down to your strands. But for me, consciousness can't hold the memories. It can only access them. That makes sense to me as far as past life regression, memories, deja vu, all that stuff, dialing into the frequency, and being able to access, Akashic records and intuition, psychic abilities, astral projection. All those things only make sense to me. That consciousness is your awareness unit, and your DNA is your memories that you can access. Now there could be another system, like the Akashic records could be a source. There could be another system where you have to dial into, but again, consciousness wouldn't be the primary system of those memories, in my opinion. That would be your operating program to get them.
Yeah. So then, if that's the case, would you say that if you do have an out of body experience, how would you remember that if your experience is outside of your body then?
Well, I think, again, I always believe that I have a tether, right? So my higher self is tethered to my body. When I leave, I'm never really fully out of my body. My perception is out of my body, but I'm always tethered to it. It's like that frequency with the clone thing that I was saying. If I had a twin, there's a way that you can move back and forth as twins, sharing DNA and experiences. Now that's a frequency potentially. That's a theory. And the same thing that I'm attached to my body right now, I can jump out, but until I cut that off completely, I can always come back. And that's how I visualize that. It is a certain frequency attached either to my genetic makeup or something in my body. Could be, I guess some people have said it's, bones or the pineal gland, your antenna, or whatever it might be. Something to your body is attaching to your consciousness. And you can astral travel and you can have out of body experience. But in the end, when you come back, you're linked to it. And that's how you can have that experience.
But two things. So, but then at some point and we're just playing around with concepts here, because your tether would have to go from astral to physical at some point, right? Because if you're out of your body and tethered, that tether isn't a physical tether, right? So it's quantum
entanglement. That's the spooky action that Einstein was talking about. If we are somewhere else, but I'm here as well, instantaneously I can travel, either astral travel or download thoughts, memories from either my higher self or the source. But my my perception, my reality, and my point of view is tethered to my body. I can't tether to your body unless I have that frequency attachment, which I don't have that.
Gotcha.
At least that's my theory,
Yeah. And twins, would you say twins are clones? That they have pretty much the same genetic material? How do you? Yeah,
they are different genetically. They have a very similar genetic material, almost the same, but there are some different in twins. There's all kinds of differences. There's not only X and Y chromosomes if you're fraternal twins. Even if you are exact twins or Siamese twins, or you are conjoined twins, you have a different perspective. I'm losing the word, but your reality is different. The way you perceive it is different. You're aligned different. But I think that it's very close. So if you're talking about, me trying to get into your body, experience how you feel, to join you mentally, that's going to be very difficult. But twins do that all the time with telepathic things, and they're able to join mentally because they have similar frequencies. or the same frequencies. I'm not sure which one it is, but that's my theory, that they can connect to each other because they have similar frequencies. Now, where that frequency is stored, I have no idea. That's not on my list of possibilities to be able to explain yet.
Gotcha. Yeah, interesting stuff. Yeah, I was just thinking about the like identical twins. You got one cell that splits off, and each one of those different ones creates a whole different entity, right? So, I mean, you can get into theories of where does the consciousness split, or how does that, even occur, or whatever, because that can kind of link towards this cloning stuff with.
Absolutely, and I think consciousness, you can have consciousnesses inside of a host of a body. You can have two consciousnesses or two souls in a body. In my opinion, you can. I never thought about that until I was talking to someone at the Orlando conference, Chad's friend Rose, and she said her and her grandmother shared a body. In her body, her grandmother was living with her consciousness at the same time. And I said, I never thought about that. Maybe that explains some of the paranormal stuff and the voices in my head things and the confusions and the splits and the breaks that people have mentally. I had never thought about that, considered it. But I think that definitely can happen. I don't know why it couldn't happen. Yeah. You just have to be on this. You would, I think logically you have to have similar DNA, very similar DNA to be able to do that, because I do think it's a frequency. It's some kind of a frequency tether that you have to attach to. And I don't know if meditation can get you there. I don't know that that's enough for you to attach with another host, another avatar.
Yeah, well, you can argue possession is close to that, right? If you have another soul or entity or whatever operating your body, I mean, and I guess you can have people argue that they're not related to demons or whatever. So I don't know.
I think it would make more sense if they were just, spirits or consciousnesses that had no body. They were kicked out. Their body died, and the tether went away. And then they were looking to just hang around. I mean, they could have been like those people that are out there right now talking about the soul trap, and they're saying, "I'm going to train myself that when I see the light, when I die, I ain't going there." And I mean, that's, is it a free will choice? That's possible. That most people are trained, and that could be one of those things too, where we're really supposed to go to the light because we can't be hanging around here. That's not really fair. It's not really part of the rule set. But if you don't go to the light, then where do you go? I mean, it's called, you're in limbo. What do they call that in the etheric realm? It begins with a P. You're not in heaven. You're not in hell. What's that?
Purgatory.
Yeah, purgatory. There you go. Thank you. I'm losing it on my mind. But I mean, it's possible that's what they mean by purgatory. You're not in heaven. You're not in hell. You've chosen not to go to the light. You're staying in this dimension, in this realm, but you don't have a host. You're not synced to anything. So it could be definitely a reason, or something that is why it happens.
Right. Yeah, that's one of the mysteries. That's definitely one of the mysteries.
Well, good talk, good conversation. This is probably part one. We'll probably pick this up another time. I'm sure Chad's missing out on this conversation, and he wants to get in on it too. So right now we are just 2/3. We're not one. We're trying to get to be whole, and we just have two perspectives of the same consciousness system, but we're looking for the wholeness. So until next time, my higher self wants you to remember to seek truth, surrender, and let go.
Peace.